Good morning. My name is Chris Phil, and I'm a member of the annual fund team. I'm privileged to be a member of the annual fund team. As long as I can remember, I've been involved in church. Growing up in the Catholic tradition, my mom was and still is a Sunday school teacher. And both my dad and my grandfather were Grand Knights in the Knights of Columbus. And me, well, I was the one and the only Joseph in our church preschool Christmas pageant one year. After I made my first communion, I became an altar boy, and yes, at the time, it was only open to boys. This gave me a behind-the-scenes look at things, and I've always had an appreciation for all of the various aspects that go into the worship service, like the music, the readings, the sacraments, and the sermons. And this is why I today enjoy being so involved in the music ministry here at this church. One day, our church organist had left, and the word spread that I could play the organ and sing. I was a freshman at the time at St. Edward's High School in Ellyn, and it was the perfect way to make some extra money. I got a whopping $10 a mass at that time. Our music was nowhere near the caliber of the music here, but we did the best we could with what we had. As much as I remember being involved in church, there's another aspect of growing up that I also quite horribly remember. I remember how mean some of the other kids were to me. Sadly, for a majority of my youth, I was ridiculed and bullied. I remember being called girl, sissy, faggot. All the abuse was verbal. I don't remember any real physical abuse, except a shove against the lockers a few times. But at a time when I was struggling with my own sexual orientation and coming to terms with it, the feelings I experienced were immensely painful, and I had nobody to talk to. I remember crying a lot in private. The feelings I experienced were also very real. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm gay. I desperately needed support. My church wasn't like our church here. We didn't have a program like Our Whole Lives, which is available for our 7th to 12th grade youth to talk about sexual and emotional health, about dignity and self-worth, about beliefs and feelings surrounding sexuality. And oh, what I would have given for a place like this church. My first 2 years of college were better, but I was still living in the closet around my family and friends. You see, 25 years ago, our society hadn't made the progress it has today. My family and church simply didn't talk about it. Because I was ashamed of being gay, I'm not kidding when I say that I actually went to one of those places that promised to change you. A Bible church with a 12-step program for homosexuals to suppress their sinful souls. And what an absolute hoot that was. Let's see. Get a group of gay men together to talk about sexual temptation. Please. I also tried seeing a Christian psychologist a few times to try to help fix the feelings I was experiencing. What nobody knows is that I seriously considered suicide. I thought, why not just end the pain now? My lack of confidence in myself and lack of loving myself for who I am and how God made me, wouldn't it be easy to just end it? I actually came way too close one day in my late teens to driving across the line into an oncoming semi. Luckily, I didn't take the easy route, and I'm standing here with you all today. I officially came out in my junior year of college. I remember the sense of relief I felt. I could finally just be myself. My family and friends were supportive of me, and everyone today, except my sister, continues to be supportive. I joined the gay club at college, and I actually remember my first boyfriend. He was the president of the club. Looking back, I'm guessing he was everybody's first boyfriend. But I was in love, and I was infatuated with the idea. What I didn't know, though, is that after college, at the young age of 23, that on a blind date at Baker Square, that I would meet the man that would one day be my husband, Brian. This guy was different than the rest. He showed me love that I never experienced, and the rest is history. Brian and I first came to First Congregational Church here at the Christmas Eve candlelight service in 2006. We had just moved to Glen, Ellyn, and from the minute we walked through these doors, there was an overwhelming welcome by two sisters that you may have heard of named Debbie and Ruth. They hugged us, and it was unlike any other church we had been to. This place truly is home to us. We financially support many causes that are close to our hearts, but after I was asked to join the annual fund team, I realized that it's time to pony up. Even more this year because of everything that this place represents to me. If I had to describe this church, I would use words like acceptance, shelter, peace, understanding, home. These words are what I also like to think describes God. Consider the impact that when you give to a place like this, you're providing a loving and supportive shelter to the 14-year-old kid in our congregation who was, like I was, struggling with my self-worth. A place where, unlike I had, it is okay to be yourself. An open and an affirming place. You may have noticed that our theme this year, in conjunction with asking for your wholehearted financial support, is Some Dreams Come True. The badge that our team members are wearing even says, "Ask me about my dream." So I ask you all this morning by a show of hands, does anyone want to know what my personal dream is? Well, maybe I'll share it with you. It's pretty huge. Let's see, though, before I consider telling you by a show of hands, how many of you have turned your pledge in yet? That's good. Well, if you haven't done so yet, please consider mailing your pledge in this week. Just saying. And for those of you that don't know what a pledge is or what I'm even talking about, please see me after the service. So back to my dream. I must say that my dream actually already came true this last summer. With the support of this church, Reverend Seth officiated our marriage, 16 years in the making. It was the very best day of my life. Today, in conclusion, and with utmost passion, I dream that we as a congregation would continue to be a visible example of God's unconditional love. Thank you, and may God bless you for your support.